The goal of a research proposal is to present and justify a research idea you as a researcher have, and to present the practical ways in which you think this research should be conducted. So the goal of a research proposal should be presented, and it should be stipulated in your written research project. Justify a research idea you have, and you can only make a justification of your research idea with the aid of your relevant readings. And that is the significance of reviewing literature and related studies. The forms and procedures for such research are defined by the sponsoring institution or agency, like the Commission on Higher Education. That's why I presented to you earlier the guidelines set by the Commission on Higher Education in the preparation of research, in the submission or in the appreciation of research project proposal. Research proposals contain extensive literature reviews and must provide persuasive evidence that there is a need for the research study being proposed. I have already mentioned that earlier. So that is the function of the review of related literature and studies. In addition to providing rationale or rationale for the proposed research, a proposal describes detailed methodology for conducting the research consistent with requirements of the professional or academic field, and a statement on anticipated outcomes and or benefits derived from the study. So rationale actually forms part of the introduction. The next, how to approach writing a research proposal. So this is our next concern. A proposal should contain all the elements involved in designing a complete research study with sufficient information that allows readers, including the panelists or our critics, to assess the validity and usefulness of the proposed study or scientific investigation. The other one is the only elements missing from a research proposal are the results of the study and the analysis of those results. An effective proposal is judged on the quality of writing. That's why during our session 1, we had our preparation for writing a research project proposal. Pointers were given, and I hope that those pointers will help each one of us in the preparation of research project proposal. So it is very important that we write the proposal with the presence of coherence, clarity, and it should be compelling. Added to this, regardless of the research problems you are investigating and the methodology you choose, all research proposals must address the following questions. So this will be our guide in writing our research project proposal. First, that needs to be addressed. What what do you plan to accomplish? So we have to be very clear and succinct in defining the research problem and what it is that you are proposing to pursue. So it only means that in all our discussions, and that includes the introduction, discussion should be done briefly. And we have to give a lot of information clearly, but in few words. And therefore, we have to delete irrelevant expressions because this is different from writing a literary work. This is technical writing. I know that you're familiar with this technical guidelines. Number two, what do you want to do it? Why do you want to do it? In addition to detailing your research design, you also must conduct a thorough review of the literature and provide convincing evidence that it is a topic worthy of study. Be sure to answer the so what question. The so what question is very important, especially when we are discussing the results of the study. That's why it is emphasized in number 2 that the so what question should be answered. Number 3, how are you going to do it? So this is suggestive of the strategies. Be sure that what you propose is doable. So meaning to say, your research project proposal is feasible because this is doable. And therefore, there is also a need for us to examine the different aspects of our proposal, because if our plan or the tasks included in the plan cannot be done by the researchers, then it's better that we modify these particular aspects of your proposal. Now, what are the common mistakes to avoid in writing a project proposal? Number 1, failure to be concise. So meaning to say, in the discussion, the researchers make it lengthy, though there is a possibility to make it brief but informative and comprehensible to the readers. Number 2, failure to cite landmark works in your literature review. So we have the basis for conducting the study. That's why similar studies may be mentioned or should be mentioned in our write-up. Then failure to delimit the contextual boundaries of your research. Like in any other projects, boundaries should be well defined. Boundaries should be well defined, and we can do this by narrating it in our plan. Who will be the participants or who will be involved in your study? What data gathering tools will be utilized? When will the study be implemented? What are the resources needed? Etc. Then failure to develop a coherent and persuasive argument for the proper research. So use our convincing power so that our proposal will be approved by the agency. And we can do that through expressing our thoughts in printed form. Failure to stay focused on the research question, going off on unrelated tangents. So all our discussions should be focused only on the research problem or research question or questions. Because beyond that, that means those ideas are already irrelevant and therefore deletion should be done. Sloppy or imprecise writing, poor grammar. That's why there is a need for us to allow others to read our works, because there is really a need for us to refine our research project proposal, because sometimes we overlooked some things like simple, like for example, the tense, the correct tense of the verb, or the correct usage, etc. I'm not saying that you are like this, but it is also good that we allow somebody to read our written research for the refinement. Okay. Another, failure to stay focused. Okay. Too much detail on minor issues, but not enough details on major issues. So if it is minor issue, make the discussion short and give more emphasis on the major issues of your research. And the discussion, again, should be supported by your relevant literature. Now, sometimes there are completed researchers with literature which are not actually utilized in the completion of research, because I am also serving as thesis advisor to our graduate school students, and I told them that if this literature do not have bearing to your research, then delete them. Okay po. Writing a project proposal. So let's talk about the structure and writing style. According to my reference, a good place to begin is to ask ourselves a series of questions. And what are these questions? 1, what do I want to study and why? Again, this means purpose. Clarity of purpose is very essential. Number 2 question, how is it significant within the subject areas covered in my class? So in other words, is this relevant to our job? I understand that not all the participants are engaged in teaching, but the point here is our research relevant to our work? Because it should be relevant to the works or tasks we are doing in the office. What problems will it help solve? So the problem should be first recognized, because that is the focal point of the investigation, because our intention is to address the problem or to provide a solution to the problem. Another is, how does it build upon research already conducted on my topic? What will be our contribution to the field or areas of our specialization? So your research proposal should document your knowledge of the topic and highlight enthusiasm for conducting the study. Approach it with the intention of leaving your readers feeling like, wow, that's an exciting idea, and I cannot wait to see how it turns out. So meaning to say, the readers increase their interest in reading your research project.